Dear friends, colleagues, and my who are going to follow me on my Facebook page, where I have decided to make this wonderful journey of infertility through my presentations at different levels. Today being day of Women's Day, I thought just to have an introduction what a woman is, the woman's feelings, and how to fulfill the woman's womanhood. So my best wishes for the today for Women's Day is the quest to extend the women's fertility to 50 and beyond. This is what I would like to give an idea, that is repeated pregnancy failures, or you can say delayed pregnancies in the late woman's life. All those things which we concern are related to the woman's hood. This journey of a woman to call mummy and me is very important in her life. She waits for the throughout of his life to get this passion, feel and blessed feeling of to be mother. And the power of woman on this Women's Day to be a mother and to have a baby is feeling blessed for them. In fact, our lifestyles have changed the situations from earlier to now. And also the scientific situations have changed, where we used to have a dogma of fixed ovarian pool, one, and second, primary ovarian failures in early stage nowadays, which is increasing day by day, or what you can say pandemic like situation is coming up, where the situation of having a baby but not reaching to the extent of fulfilling the motherhood has becoming a challenge in the modern life. The whole process puts on a stress to the whole body of the woman, not only that, the entire family, but it is worth to think because it gives a feeling of family to be completed. Look, this science which has changed the future for all of us is on a principle that we have a fixed number of ovoms at the time of birth, around 5 lakh, and then gradually it reduces with each cycle of ovulation, and by 30-35 we may have more than 80% of the ovarian pool is lost or over. But today's situation is that around 30 plus and above, we are, because of our professional requirements, competitive life, lifestyle, our lives are going very haywire. But today I can assure you, with the changing science, today's my talk will give an idea that the early age pregnancies which are finding difficult due to ovarian failure primary, or those late pregnancies, those who want to have babies after 40s, it is much possible because scientifically it has come to all evolutionary findings that because of the environment in the ovary, decreased hormone cycles have led to the atrophy of subepithelial ovarian cells or stem cells of the ovary, which now we have lot of scientific papers, researchers, and at STEMRX we have been doing on this value added program, where we assure these ovaries can be rejuvenated. And this rejuvenation means the ovaries which have lost their function as a process of menopausal cycle, reduced hormonal cycle leads to decrease and gradual imbalance in the menstrual cycle as well in the ovulation. That can be brought back to normal, which otherwise we think of the 40 plus of age, the environment changes and we find that the DNA of the ovum is not healthy. But we can maintain this health of the DNA by using various new technologies. In fact, there are certain technologies to keep this DNA functional well. Mitochondrial cytoplasmic transplant, which has been discovered, but it's a difficult job and which we in the process will keep on coming. But in vitro fertilization, or you can say where you can use IVOI to have a good quality home at any age, which is much possible by ovarian rejuvenation at both the stages of life, early as well as late. These particularly by keeping the blood in the body and the environment in the ovary of like ovulating women of 22 years age, which is much possible by using various factors from the young woman around 22 years old to have those growth factors and ovulatory factors from the plasma of that woman and using them in the most advanced technologies to put into an aging woman of woman, where we can find these factors definitely give same ovulation signals which are present in the young woman to the aging woman. Not only that, the technology of using various growth factors like platelet-rich plasma, but lyophilized platelet-rich plasma, which is in a powder form, can give the ability to regenerate the ovary. Or even when we calculate in such women, there are immune factors which are playing a role, because pregnancy and immune factors or immunity plays a very hand-in-hand role, where all T1 cells, T2 cells, T17 cells, regulatory cells, MDC cells plays a major role. How do we keep that balance to get the ovarian function back to normal, particularly in young women? And in old age also, immune system has gone down to put their immune system back to ovarian function. So these are much possible things, and those conditions where we think of frozen youngs, frozen worms to froze or eggs to frozen and then use it, all these possibilities we can overcome with these new technologies, where the dogma of, I said, fixed ovarian pool no more exists. Also, there's much important, if you see for the women with the change in environment, the total concept of conception and having a baby is changed with the scientific ways and it is growing a big market. If we suppose to improve the quality of sperm, quality of ovum, quality of egg, then we can think of going into a very good new science which is called the regenerative medicine, which I spoke in earlier my 1 or 2 sentences about the PRPs, MSCs from the placenta, or autologous from the bone marrow, or otherwise a mixed cell population, mononuclear cell population from the bone marrow itself, which carries almost all every type of cell population from progenitor, MSCs, endothelial, and one most famous research which has come ahead is proved by the Indian scientist, the Dr. Deepa, that there are cells which are called as very small embryonic like stem cells carrying all the markers of embryonic cell of autologous character. These cells can regenerate the ovaries if we do a perfect design protocol, and these are called as a precise technologies depending on the concept and aging of the patient and causes of morbid conditions. All this if we put together, we can definitely say involving of, instead of donor's egg, we can have our own eggs and keep the efficiency and keep to understand efficiency and safety margins of these technologies, which are coming in various research papers now. Managing to reversing the menopause to restore the menstruation and the ovulation is the one which we are looking for to change the woman's life. And today being Women's Day, I bless the community to have this coming up as a new science to bless the entire community. And this program of mine on this particular Facebook page, I'll be coming every fortnight or every week with each application of new science, from platelets, from the aging science, how do senescence science, apoptosis science, how the aging cells we grow, they make the inflammatory cytokines more in the aging woman, or morbid conditions, how to deal with morbid conditions, those things like diabetes, hypothyroidism, all those things we'll look into each program. And also I'll be adding you what is the role of antibodies in repeated pregnancy failures. How do we overcome this? How do we manage? Or leukocyte transplant, leukocyte cross test in the treatment, or even IVIG. All those things I'll be coming you and bringing you a wonderful solution to find out, to complete the womanhood and feel the blessed life. I think all of you got the idea about this page, where I intend to come on a live almost of the time in a week or in a fortnight, and bring you close to the future science which is down the line going to come after 20 years or 50 years, make you available today as on to overcome the failing standard medical cares in infertility. There is always a hand in hand, both the technology, standard medical care and new science. Definitely we will have to work together, and we will overcome the biggest problem or the pandemic of infertility, which is increasing day by day. Henceforth, I'll be putting on my Facebook my programs where you can join. Each of them, I'll also demonstrate the technologies. How do we make the stem cells? How do we use them? How do you isolate the VACL cells? All those things I'll come in subsequent my programs. First of all, let me thank you for all the women and doctors who are there on my Facebook today to attend this particular session and introductory talk on Women's Day. My all the best and wishes for the women who are waiting to feel their womanhood to be complete and feel blessed. We are there with the science to solve your problems. Thank you.